I'm sure throughout the years you guys have wondered what my favorite Thomas merchandise line is.
Gee, yeah, I wonder. How about you?
What do you think? So if you guys didn't know, the Thomas Wooden Railway has been around for over 30 years now, and let me tell you, that is a very long time for any toy ranch to be around. It's gone through ups and downs, but overall it remains my favorite line. And, I mean, you guys probably knew that my name is Wooden Fan 1 and all, but you probably don't get why it's my favorite, and so many others as well. I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but I believe it was early Wooden Railway videos that kind of pioneered Thomas videos on YouTube as a whole. But regardless of that, today I'd like to talk about all of the creative and unique decisions that Wooden Railway did throughout the years to make it such an iconic and timeless range that I and many others love so much. So sit back and relax today as we talk about how I believe Wooden Railway is the definitive Thomas merchandise line. So I'm gonna be right off the bat. My favorite era of the Wooden Railway range is from 2000 to 2001. There's so much I love about it, but to dive off from that, I mean, there's so much about the range I love from 92 all the way to 2017 and the new Wooden range. But besides that, there's so much interesting and unique details that make the line so lovable and so classic and timeless, it feels like. A lot of that definitely goes to Brio Wooden Railway. That was kind of the pioneer of Wooden Railway train sets to begin with. And to me, Brio always struck me as the type of toy that was like, essentially junior model railways. And I think Roy Wilson saw this and took the opportunity to make a Thomas range that was very similar to Brio, but at the same time had its own flavor, a more Sodor-style Wooden Railway, if you will. I mean, obviously, with Thomas Wooden Railway, that would be the case. And I think what Thomas Wooden Railway did better than Brio, and this isn't Brio's fault at all. Brio might have history, but Thomas Wooden Railway has lasting legacy characters. Now, you're probably wondering what I mean by that. Well, kids love their characters in their TV shows. And, you know, obviously, when toys of those characters come out, the kids obviously are going to want them and come home and play with them. And if they like them, they're going to add more to their cast and more to their crew. And eventually, they're going to have their own little model Wooden Railway set. And I think Thomas is a great gateway to that, especially in the Wooden Railway range. Besides from being a really good toy train line, it's also a really good collectible hobby line for anyone too. And you're probably wondering again what I'm referring to. Well, when a toy line's been around for at least 30 years and items have been discontinued, reintroduced, limited exclusive runs, you can imagine there is a lot of resale value and collectability to them, which is very true. These were last-long toys with craftsmanship and quality, and it makes sense why people still care about them nowadays and go for ridiculous prices on eBay, even though I don't agree with those prices. I really hate them, but it does make a bit of sense. I think a really good character to talk about in this category would be Cody, honestly. As you all know, Cody was introduced in the early 90s in Learning Curve. He was a Railway exclusive character, which is already interesting. But besides that, after his 90s release, he was reintroduced in 2005, aka kind of the middle era of Wooden Railway. And even again in 2015, when it was the Mattel era at the tail end, Cody came back. 3 different versions of Cody, and they're all collectible in their own ways. It's so interesting to see different versions of characters throughout the years. To me, it doesn't just only make me feel that the world that TWR set was really built in and breathed in, but it also makes me so happy that there are multiple options for character choices. Say for like Oliver's, for example. You didn't like the 90s version? Well, the 2006 version has more accuracy. Didn't like that? Well, you got the Mattel version. There are so many options, so realistically, you're not really limited to just a few choices. You have a lot to go off of, a lot to get and a lot to collect to make your layouts and collection grow. Another great thing that the Wooden Railway line did, and whether it was intentional or not, is that they made their products and toy line feel very lived in and like it was a real world. It felt very akin to the real Sodor Railway that we know. For example, when making a product, they can do something like adding Sodor logos to it, making a character, making a vehicle you'd see in the background. You make something that you'd see on a railway like the Island of Sodor. It doesn't always necessarily have to be something realistic. However, it should be something realistic for the trains of Sodor to be interacting with. To further my point, here's a selection of random characters throughout the years of Learn and Curse run. As you can see, there's a lot here and a lot of reasons I picked these certain characters. Some of you may be thinking, oh, well, Take Along made so-and-so and Trackmaster did so-and-so. Well, that may be true. Just look at the vast variety of characters we got throughout the years and throughout the eras. There's so many kind akin to so many eras throughout the show, whether it be the Railway series, the Model series, or even CGI or the Pack. I mean, Wooden Railway has simply done it all, apart from Rex. But other than that, I mean, Wooden Railway has got debatably one of the most expansive lines to get the most Thomas characters I could imagine. Alright, now I think you guys have grown tired of me rambling about why I love Wooden Railway so much, so now it's time we bring on some of my friends that love Wooden Railway just as much as me. Bring it on, guys!
Hi all, I'm Gio, and my friend Andrew asked me to talk a little bit about my love for the Thomas Wooden Railway line of toys, and I couldn't have been more honored to participate. Now, if you're aware of me, the chances are it's because of my custom wooden railway models I've made. Most people assume I make these models because I'm disappointed with the lack of detail or depth on the originals, but that couldn't be further from the truth. I think in general, the wooden railway system is a brilliant yet timeless toy. The fact that the system is virtually unchanged since its conception, well, besides one iteration, and that most pieces from as far back as the 1950s are cross-compatible with trains made in the 20th century, again, not including one iteration, is amazing to me. But what makes the Thomas Wooden Railway system specifically special to me is that it feels like it adds another layer of personality to an already imaginative and creative toy. The idea of replicating Sodor in this wooden aesthetic is something that really excites me. And I love the balance the line has of keeping with the detail of the TV series and books, while also staying within the borders of wooden stylization established by lines like Brio and Heroes, which is something I really love. To explain that point better, I feel like other merchandise lines have the expectation of trying to match up with the detail of the TV series models to a T, but I don't think Thomas Wooden Railway has to live up to that expectation. Sure, it needs to be detailed, but it also doesn't, if that makes any sense. Like, the models in a way are like a love letter to the character itself, capturing key details while not trying to be a one-on-one replica, which I absolutely love. If I'd have to give a final sentiment, it would be long live Wooden Railways, and especially long live the Thomas Wooden Railway.
I think the reason that I choose Wooden Railway over a lot of the other merch brands that I could film with and do pretty much everything else with is just for its simplicity. I mean, you could always go super duper detailed on the models, or you could just buy like Trackmaster or Take Along or Bachmann or Ertl, but Wooden Railway is just that perfect merch line. Like, it doesn't try to be flashy, it doesn't try to be what it isn't. It was always strictly a wooden railway line, well, until like the end where some of the more gimmicky sets came out, but the majority of it was just, this is a wooden train set, and it didn't try to be anything else, and that's what I really liked about Wooden Railway.
To sum up my final thoughts on the Thomas Wooden Railway line, I think it's a timeless classic, with generational appeal for years to come. It doesn't have to be flashy, it doesn't have to be motorized, it doesn't have to be made of metal. It just has to be what it is. It's something kids can enjoy and love and play with and cherish throughout the years, and when they eventually grow up and possibly have kids, they can hand it down to them. That's what Wooden Railway is made for. It's made to grow up with you. It was built to last, no matter how old you get. Thomas will be your friend for life. And that just might be the most important reason I love Wooden Railway so much. Because no matter what happens, you can always count on it to be there for you, no matter how old you are. And that is why I think the Wooden Railway line is by far the most superior Thomas toy line.